Good morning, students. This is Padmanabhan sir, Botany NEET faculty. In the previous class, we discussed about root and root modification under the morphology of flowering plants. Now, in this session, I am going to explain about stem or shoot system. So, stem or shoot system is an elongation of plumule from the embryonal axis. So, radicle gives rise root system which is develops towards soil, whereas plumule grows and produces a shoot system which develops aerially. The main shoot was developed from plumule of embryonal axis at the time of growth. The main shoot grows towards positively phototrophic, negatively geotrophic, positively phototrophic. From the meristematic tissues of the plumule, the stem grows towards aerial, the green stem, and represents constrictions or growth interval point. At a particular places, the shoot system can able to produce green leaves. Actually, where the green leaves are develops on the main shoot is considered as a node. In between two nodes, the region is called internode. So, in the shoot system, there is an area angles or areas where the leaves are developed. That area is called what ma? Node. So, at a particular intervals, the shoot system produces leaves. On stem where actually leaves are developed are said to be node. In between two nodes, the length of shoot is otherwise called as what ma? Internode. In between node, internode, right? So, the leaves are developed at particular places on the shoot. That area is called node. In between two nodes, the area is called internode. The angle, that is upper angle between the stem and leaf, is otherwise called as axil. Very important point, please note this. Upper angle between leaf and stem is called axil. Some meristematic cells are deposited from the apical meristem, the left behind some meristematic cells. Some meristematic cells are left behind in the axils. Hence, it forms a axillary bud. The meristematic cells present in the shoot tip is considered as apical or terminal bud. So the stem tip or shoot tip has apical or terminal bud. From the apical buds, some amount of meristematic cells are left behind and constitute here in the axils of leaf. Those buds are called axillary buds. So in the aerial stem, there are two types of buds are found, that is apical bud or terminal bud, and in the axils of leaf, axillary buds are found. These both are said to be vegetative buds. So vegetative bud means terminal bud as well as axillary bud, which are developed in the shoot tips as well as in the axils of shoot. Generally, the stem grows aerially by producing leaves at particular intervals, right? In that axillary bud, from the axillary bud activity gives rise into a branch. This branch may be having flowers or may be having leaves. So the branches are developed with the activity of axillary bud. So terminal bud is responsible for linear growth of the shoot. Axillary bud is responsible for production of branches, maybe vegetative branch or maybe floral branch. Vegetative branch or floral branches are developed from axillary bud. Lengthwise growth of the stem was developed with the activity of terminal bud, because terminal or apical bud as well as axillary bud has meristematic cells, right? So these are about the vegetative buds found on the shoot system. Generally, the aerially growing stem at young stage, green in color, perform photosynthesis, having nodes and internodes, having vegetative buds like apical bud and axillary buds, and at every node, green expanded leaves are develops. Actually, the photosynthesis takes place at this site, that is nothing but leaves. And axillary buds produces branches, flowers, that flowers develops into fruits. What are the main function of the stem? Let us see. The root absorb the water now. The absorbed water by the root was transmitted through the stem for aerial parts. For all branches, for all leaves, the absorbed water was transported or translocated throughout the stem by the shoot system. The root absorbed water primarily from the soil, then it was transported almost all branches, leaves, flowers, fruits through the shoot system. The shoot system is responsible for production of leaves. The leaves are the main sites for photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Preparation of food. The carbon dioxide converted into glucose within the green parts of the plant where chlorophyll pigments participate in that process, photosynthesis, right? So the green parts of the plant, that is nothing but leaves, are developed from stems, and also branches develops from the axils of the stems. These branches may be vegetative branch or maybe floral branches also develops. Means in the aerial shoot system, the flowers are developed, who actually the reproductive units, the flowers are the actual reproductive units, participate in the reproduction, and finally the flowers becomes converted as a fruits after fertilization. The fruits embedded with the seeds are the structures actually germinate and gives rise into new plants of the next generation. So the reproductive units, flowers, then fruits formed on the branches on the main stem. So aerial parts of the plant, that is a shoot system, responsible for translocation of water and minerals from the root to almost all parts, and then which is responsible to produce leaves, which are photosynthetes, and are responsible to produce branches and flowers, which are reproductive units, and produce fruits and seeds. So the aerial shoot system is a very important for the plant growth and survival, and also to produce novel offsprings through a process called fertilization. So that is about a shoot system, and also it constitutes apical bud and axillary buds, right? But in majority of the plants, the shoot system is aerial, but in some plants, the total stem or a part of stem being underground. In such plants, the stems are said to be underground stems. Whereas in some other plants like grasses, a portion of stem present inside the soil, a portion of stem present aerially. 50% of the stem buried in soil are present inside the soil in the creeping stem having plants, and 50% of the stem present aerially. So in such plants, the stems are considered as subaerial stems. So aerial stems, subaerial stems and underground stems are the three different kinds of stems are found in different types of plants. The aerial stems are maybe weak, tendriller, or maybe strong, hard, woody in nature, or maybe soft and herbaceous in nature, maybe produce profuse branching, or maybe columnar stems without branching. Columnar stems without branching. So these are different nature of stems. Like in root, in stems also, a complete stem or a part of stem, complete stem or a part of stem gets modified in its structure to perform variable functions other than the stem functions. Such modified shoots which perform the additional functions are called stem modifications. Here we know that the stems are three types, that is underground stems, aerial stems and subaerial stems. So in these three different kinds of shoot systems or stems, different kinds of modifications were observed. We are going to discuss individually one another one. First of all, the underground stem modifications. So in some plants, the complete stem buried in the soil, grow in the soil, the aerial branches will develop with leaves. Such plants are said to be underground stems. In such modifications were observed in different plant pots. First of all, the rhizome. Rhizome is one of the underground stem. Here, beneath the soil, the underground portion of the stem have horizontally growing shoot system. In this horizontally growing shoot, they possess nodes and internodes. At every node, the brown membranous leaves are developed, which are otherwise called as scale leaves, and also they have axillary buds as well as apical buds. From the apical buds, aerial shoot system was developed. From the axillary buds, the daughter rhizomes are produced. So each and every node have scale leaves, and the apex of the stem, underground stem, has apical bud which produces aerial shoot branches. The axillary bud actually produces the daughter rhizomes, which is grows horizontally in the soil. So horizontally beneath the soil at a particular depth, the horizontally growing stems were found. They are said to be rhizomes. These stems are useful for the storage of food, and they exhibit perennation, means long live, more than 2 years, more than 2, 3, 4 years they can grow and they can live within the soil, and also they are escaped from grazing animals, that is herbivorous animals. They tide over, perennation means long live, without water also they can grow continuously for long periods. They are useful for storage of leaves and also they can capable to produce daughter rhizomes, means they participate in vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation also performed by them. Vegetative propagation also performed by them by producing daughter rhizomes. So these underground stems are useful for storage of food and tide over the drought conditions, that is exhibit perennation and escape from grazing animals and also useful for vegetative reproduction. Majority of the functions, more than 2 functions are performed by these underground stems. Hence, these underground stem modifications otherwise called as multi-purpose stem modifications. Why? Because the underground stems not only perform a single modified function, they exhibit several functions. So the horizontally growing underground stems are said to be what ma? Rhizome. For example, Musa paradisiaca banana, then Gingiber officinalis, and then Curcuma turmeric. So very important, note these examples: gingiber, ginger, curcuma, turmeric, musa, banana are the examples for rhizome. Whenever you see the vertical growing underground stems were otherwise called as corms. Here also the apical bud was present, which produces aerial shoot. The axillary buds and the scale leaves are found at every node. And contractile roots are found. Here also root system, adventitious roots are found for absorption of water. And axillary buds produces daughter corms. So axillary bud produce daughter corm, apical bud produce aerial shoot system, nodes, internodes, scale leaves and adventitious roots. But this is a vertically growing stem up to particular depth in the soil. This is horizontally growing stem in the particular depth of soil. That is the only difference between rhizome and corm. Very important, note this point. Rhizome is underground stem, grows horizontally. Corm is also a underground stem, grows vertically. Remaining characters same. Apical bud, axillary bud, nodes and internodes, scale leaves at every node, adventitious roots. These are all same points. Functions also same. Storage of food, escape from grazing animals, tide over the drought conditions or exhibit perennation, long live, and produce daughter rhizomes and daughter corms by the underground stem and participate in vegetative propagation. So the rhizome grows horizontally, corm grows vertically. That is the main difference. Remaining are all same characters. For example, the corms, Colocasia and Zamincand, Amorphophallus. Scientific name for Zamincand, Amorphophallus. Colocasia are the examples of corm. Ginger, musa, curcuma are the examples for rhizome. Then thirdly, the stem tuber. In the plants like potato, not sweet potato, potato, Solanum tuberosum, scientific name, potato plant. The underground branches of the stem stores food material in their tips and becomes bulge. These portions are otherwise called as tubers. They have eye spots, a representation of nodes, semilunar scars are found. This is the root, main root, tap root. These are underground branches of stem, underground branch of stem stores food material in their tips and becomes bulge. The food was stored in the potatoes in the form of starch. Starch is a polysaccharide of glucose, polysaccharide of glucose. So in the potatoes, the eye spots are found. These are the representatives of nodes. At every node, what will happen? What will found? The axillary bud was found. Axillary bud. This scar represents the axillary bud and has dry membranous leaves called scale leaves also. Whenever you cut a portion of this eye spot and path in the soil, the new seedlings will develop from this point. So the tubers which having the eye spots are able to propagate vegetatively by producing new offsprings. The underground stem branches stores the food and becomes tuberous. These are called underground tuberous stems found in potato plants. Solanum tuberosum example. Here in the potato branches or underground branches there is no roots, no adventitious roots because the main root is present in the form of taproot. So because of the presence of main root as a taproot in these plants, there is no need for production of adventitious buds in the stem branches. But in rhizome and corms, the underground portion of the stems horizontally grow or vertically grow. They produce adventitious roots at nodes. But here there is no need because it is a dicot plant. It has a main taproot system and produces underground branches without roots. Without roots, underground branches are present. Example, potato. Next, fourth underground stem, bulb. For example, onions and garlic. Onion, allium cepa, garlic, allium sativum. The scientific names of onion, allium cepa, scientific name of garlic, allium sativum. Allium cepa and allium sativum. These both are considered as bulbs. In these plants, the underground stem was discoid or biconcave. So reduced stem. The underground stem was reduced and becomes biconcave structure or discoid structure. Towards lower side of the reduced stem, number of adventitious roots are developed. Towards aerial, the number of leaf bases are developed. These leaf bases are arranged in concentric rings. Leaf bases are arranged in concentric rings and was covered by a brown membrane called tunic. Brown membrane called tunic. Right? In these, the leaf bases of the underground portion stores the food material but not by reduced stem. So reduced stem was not participate in storage of food. The leaf bases which are in underground participate in storage of food in these bulbs. So in bulbs, the scaly leaf bases, brown colored membrane was covered, that leaf bases stores the food. Underground stem is very much reduced and discoid or concave and produce adventitious roots. Here also the apical buds is responsible for production of aerial shoot system with a number of flowers, and axillary buds are responsible for production of daughter bulbs. So axillary bud is responsible for production of daughter bulbs. Apical bud is responsible to production of aerial shoot. So apical bud and axillary buds are found in the reduced stem. Leaf bases stores the food material. All leaf bases concentrically arranged one by one and covers with a brown tunic or brown colored membrane called tunic. It is the character of Allium cepa. Whenever you see the garlic as an underground bulb, here also discoid stem is there and adventitious roots are found, apical bud, axillary buds are found, but the scale leaves are not in a concentric manner and are arranged individually. So individual scale leaves are developed. Each and every scale leaf stores food material, but the total leaves are covered by a white colored tunic. Here each and every individual leaves covered with white tunic, which are called cloves. So in the garlic, each and every leaf called cloves, which are covered by a white colored tunic. Both garlic and onion are said to be tunicated bulbs. Non-tunicated bulbs are found in Lilium candidum. So non-tunicated bulbs are found in Lilium candidum. Tunicated bulbs. Tunic means the protective layer of the underground leaves. Tunicated bulbs are found in both onion and garlic. So in underground stems, the stem does not store food here in the bulbs. Leaf bases, underground leaf bases stores the food material here in these bulbs. Whenever you observe in the onion, the apical bud is responsible to produce an aerial shoot. That shoot system produces number of flowers in the form of umbellated clusters. This floral shoot of the Allium cepa is called scape. One of the important point. Scape is the inflorescence axis. Floral axis. Inflorescence axis or floral axis is called scape in these flowers. That is in the onion, right? So onion, garlic are the tunicated bulbs. Lilium candidum is a non-tunicated bulb. So let us refresh. Rhizome is a horizontally growing underground stem. comb vertically growing underground stem. Then stem tubers, underground branches, stores food in their tips. No roots are there in that underground branches. Bulbs, the underground stem does not store food, but underground scaly leaf bases. Scaly leaf bases stores the food here in that bulbs. These are the 4 important underground stem modifications which are useful for storage of food, which are escape from grazing animals, which are tied over the perennation, that is tied over dry conditions and exhibit perennation long live, and also participate in vegetative propagation by producing daughter rhizomes, daughter combs, daughter bulbs, and what are the tubers, new plants, right? These are about underground stem modifications. Then the second one about aerial stem modifications. Stem tendrils and thorns. First of all, stem tendril. What is tendril means? In the aerial shoot from the apical bud or from the axillary bud, the wiry coiled delicate sensitive structures will develop called tendrils. The stem tendrils were developed from apical bud in the plants like Vitis vinifera, grapes. In Vitis vinifera, the grapes plant, the apical bud responsible for producing tendrils, the wiry, delicate structures, coiled structures which are sensitive. Whenever they touch the support, coil over the support and climb over the support. In a weak stemmed plants like grapes and gourds, these tendrils are developed to give for climbing of weak stems. So for the purpose of climbing and support. Gives by these modified tendrils. In gourds such as pumpkin, watermelon, in gourds means the plants belongs to Cucurbitaceae family like pumpkin, watermelon and muskmelon, bitter gourd, sour gourd. In these plants, from the axillary buds of the leaf, the tendrils are developed. So in gourds, pumpkin, watermelon, muskmelon, bitter gourd, from the axils of the leaf the tendrils are developed, whereas in Vitis vinifera the tendrils are developed from apical bud. Vitis vinifera grapes, in grapes plants from apical bud the tendrils are developed, whereas in gourds, that is bitter gourd, sour gourd, pumpkins, watermelons, axillary bud produces tendrils. What is tendril? Wiry, coiled, delicate, sensitive structures are called tendrils, which are developed from either apical bud or from axillary bud of some plants, some weak stem having plants. Those structures are helpful for climbing purpose or giving support to the plant because they climb over the support. Whenever they touch the support, coils the support and helps for the climbing of that particular weak stemming having plants. Next, second one, thorns. In bougainvillea and in citrus plants, the aerial stems have thorns, means in the axils of leaves the pointed delicate structures are developed. These are called thorns. These thorns are helps for protection from or self-defense from grazing animals. The plant protects itself from the grazing animals by producing hard, woody, pointed structures called thorns. So from the axillary buds or from apical buds of some plants, the hard, woody, pointed structures develops. These pointed, hard, woody structures are called thorns. By producing thorns, these plants escape from grazing animal activity. Whenever the grazing animal want to eat that plant, the thorns injure that plants. So these herbivorous animals does not touch that plants which are having thorns, right? So by thorns, these plants have self-defense, self-protection. These are the hard, woody pointed structures developed from either axillary bud or apical bud. In example, bougainvillea and citrus. Bougainvillea and citrus. Then thirdly, phylloclades. In some plants belongs to xerophytes or desert plants. For example, Opuntia or cactus, euphorbia, and in casuarina, the stem itself modified into flattened leaf-like structures. The stem itself modified into flattened leaf-like structures called phylloclades or phylloclades. These structures participate in photosynthesis. Why? In these plants, because they grow in xerophytic conditions or desert areas, they does not give sufficient water. So, in the limited water, these plants while want to grow, the rate of transpiration must be reduced. What is rate of transpiration? The loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial parts, especially from the leaves. So, to avoid the rate of transpiration, to avoid the water loss in these plants, the leaves gets reduced and the leaves becomes spines or scale leaves. So leaves are reduced into spines. What is the main purpose of leaf? Perform photosynthesis. Here, to avoid the transpiration rate, leaves are gets reduced into spines. To perform leaf function, the stem itself gets modified into flattened structures. The stem itself gets modified into flattened structures called phylloclades and perform photosynthesis. So complete stem, complete total aerial stem modified into phylloclades, complete leaves modified into spines in this cactus plant. Whereas in euphorbia, the cylindrical stems are found as a phylloclades, cylindrical phylloclades, whereas at every node the leaves are reduced into scale leaves. Whereas in Casuarina, the needle-like phylloclades are develops. Needle-like phylloclades. So what is phylloclade? The stem totally develops as flattened green leaf-like structure or cylindrical green structures or needle-like green structures. Flattened cylindrical structures are found in Opuntia or cactus. Cylindrical stems are found in Euphorbia. Needle-like stems are found in Casuarina. But these green stems perform photosynthesis instead of leaves. Why? Because in these plants the leaves gets reduced into spines or scale leaves. Why? To avoid or to minimize the rate of transpiration, because these plants grow in desert areas or waterlogged conditions. That is about a phylloclade, very important one. Example, cactus or Opuntia, Euphorbia and Casuarina. Then analogous to phylloclade, cladophylls. Here in some plants like Ruscus, the limited growing branches are develops from the axils of scale leaves. Not a complete stem. These are called cladophylls or cladode. These limited growing branches with one or two internodal lengths perform photosynthesis here. Here also leaves are gets modified into scale leaves. This one internodal length branch was perform photosynthesis. Leaves are reduced into scales. The main stem is there. So a part of stem, not total stem, a portion of stem gets modified into photosynthetic organ called cladophylls or cladodes found in Ruscus plants, right? That is cladophyll. The last one, bulbil. In the aerial stems of some plants like Dioscorea, the axillary bud grow, stores food material and becomes bulge and forms a bulbil. These swollen axillary buds, whenever detached from parent plant, whenever separate from parent plant, they participate in vegetative propagation. So axillary bud stores food and becomes bulge. That bulged axillary buds in the Dioscorea plant is called bulbil. Example, Dioscorea, axillary bud. But in some plants like Oxalis, The floral bud gets modified into bulbil. Floral bud gets modified into bulbil in oxalis and forms bulbil. Whatever it may be, axillary bud in Dioscorea or floral bud in oxalis, the bud stores food material, becomes bulge. Whenever these buds get separate and fall on the suitable substratum, they can germinate and produce a new plant. Hence the bulbils, the structures, participate in vegetative propagation. So bulbils helps in vegetative propagation. Cladophylls or cladodes participate in photosynthesis. Phylloclads also participate in photosynthesis. Tendrils are help for climbing. Thorns are helping for protection, that is self-defense. These are the aerial stem modifications seen in our syllabus. Okay. About subaerial stems and then leaves we will discuss in the next session. Thank you, students. We'll meet you in the doubt clarification session. Is there any doubt? Please ask me in the doubt clarification session. Thank you. Meet you again in the next class. Thank you.